Mr. Alvin is the founder of technology firm Cyberforsec Inc. and he is currently the technology and creative director and also a co-founder at Massive Winston Group and an AI Fishing Fund. He has over 50 years of experience specializing in the areas mainly cybersecurity and forensic and other areas such as artificial intelligence, business blockchain, IT service management, IT governance, business strategy, digital business, and cloud computing. Not only that, he also has over 30 professional certification in business, technology, and life skill. Hi, Mr. Alvin.
Hello, good evening,
hello.
everyone.
Thank you for joining us as our main speaker for this preview session. Shall we? Before we proceed, right? For this preview session, we have two segments. One will be Q&A session with Mr. Alvin, and the other one will be the program preview itself. So hi, Mr. Alvin. Shall we start the Q&A session?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Sure. I believe that everyone here comes from a different background, and if you have any question, please feel free to ask in the Q&A session below, and don't be shy. Just any question, just ask us. So in the meantime, while we are waiting for the question from the audience to come in, Alvin, can you share about your career journey in the cybersecurity industry?
Okay. My personal career journey in the cybersecurity industry is not the normal one, because we already come a long way. When we first started, there wasn't even an IT industry, not to say a cybersecurity industry, right? So it was really about when you are young, teenage time, as a teenager, I experiment with a lot of IT gadgets. I tear apart computer and fix it back, So it very much like a passion. So this passion grew to be sort of a self-actualization. So now I can take some leadership role in the cybersecurity space, right? So so we have come really a long way. It's like a few decades, sound very old, right? Yeah. So we begin with a passion, So we have been there, and then when I was in my JC, I started running the computer science club when nobody knows what's a computer. Even the teachers don't know what's a computer. So we just try, And then we discovered that, actually, we can actually run some programs for the school cohort, communities. And we started doing things from there in, I think, 1990s. And very much after that, we also teach people how to go online, Last time, those were the days when people still use fax machine. I don't know you guys know what's a fax machine. So you were telling them, there's something called digital fax, and then you can use the modem, 14.4 kbps, 36.6 kbps to go online. And then you already have to pay a lot to go online. So it was very much that period. But then we discovered that actually we already heard of this thing called hacking. Right? People were hacking telephone booths, all kinds of hack in a very fundamental way of doing things that are, dangerous. And then fast forward, then we met the .com era, the year 2000, where a lot of companies start investing, from don't believe internet companies to really investing heavily in internet companies, and then internet companies collapsed, right? So that was the year 2000. That time I was in NTU after, somewhere between graduation, and I started a few startups over there, during my time. So we tried all sorts of things. So we tried networking, servers, computer, all right? Then I got interest in computer networking. Yeah, I joined a company called enlightening. So it was a Japanese firm listed in Japan and compete globally with the Cisco system. So we work hand in hand with the vendors, basically the industry. So we have projects, right? We have wide scale project, we have mini scale project, and I was the entire Asia regional trainer. So I didn't plan to be a teacher, okay? So it was like IT trainer, and then I get used to it. So I reprofiled myself very early in my 20s. Yeah. So I'm just a bit ahead of time because, I was very excited about new things. So after that, then I joined the academic because I thought of giving back. So I joined the poly. Then we started training students, and it was the time when poly started not to be too academic. They want to let graduate students become very, very hands-on so they can find jobs easily, right? So we started training students to go for competition. So I was involved in this competition that is called World Skills. So we train a 16, 17-year-old to compete internationally with adults on networking, cybersecurity, and all those. So during my time, right, we managed to get the national champion, right, championship. So, and then we sent the national championship to compete the rest of the world, including the other universities. And we came back with the global champion, including the Albert Vidal Award. Yeah, so it was something, it was like a national thing. So I thought, like, okay, then I moved back to industry again. Right? So I done my part. Then I started doing IT governance training. I started doing IT service management training, very much board level training and senior management training. It was the early days when then the IT industry started talking about IT risk management. But risk management was already there in the audit industry, right? Yeah, risk management industry, but pretty new in IT. So we started, I joined a company called ALC Group. We started educating the industry of companies of all size, right? And it was sort of like the frontier then, the frontier's frontier. You know? Yeah, telling people, hey, what's coming up 5 years' time, 6 years' time, you got to set up governance, risk management. It was like advocating frameworks, yeah. Then, and of course, then I, much later on, I helped out in Aventis and now part of Aventis to help out. Yeah. So it was quite a journey, lah. And you can probably guess how old I am already. Yeah.
I also noticed that, right, you have founded a technology firm called Cyberforsec, which is the logo behind you. What makes you go into the cybersecurity industry since you have like various and a lot of different experience in different sectors?
Yeah. Basically, I founded this second company called Cyberforsec Private Limited. Again, we are a trailblazer. So we saw that there are some gaps in the industry. So we just want to pay it forward. So we are championing sustainable GRC, IT GRC, and basically hand-holding people who thinks that they want to make a switch to the cybersecurity industry. Yeah, because many people may not have the full journey like what we have done. Gone through. They were, when they were born, there's already internet, you know, or you already studying. You already know things that maybe a bit advanced. Things are already created, right? So you don't go under the hood to really understand how the infrastructure works, and you know, and how hackers can be ahead of us. So we thought that people may need actually sort of a mentorship, a handhold in this area. Yeah, and of course, then we also set it up as a form of a platform whereby people can collaborate, look for projects together. Yeah.
I see. So since you were saying like you are helping people like to get their career in cybersecurity stuff like that, right? What advice can you give to someone like who would like to do a career switch to cybersecurity, and will it be too late, like if they would like to switch their career, let's say like in 40s, or do you have any tips for those people?
Okay, actually, if you can go to my website, right, I actually give a free ebook whereby we have listed some of the latest roles over there, which you can then see whether these are the roles that you really want to get into and what they do, right? Yeah. So right now we're giving it free. So yeah, to answer the question, right, 40 is a critical time, lah, you know, but it's never too late to switch. So we are talking about not 20s, 30s, right? The very critical law, you know. I'm in that category, so I'm with you, right? So if you really, to be frank, if you really work backwards, right, you have to ask yourself a question: how long do you intend to stay in a new industry, or this industry that you are getting into, right? So typically, I heard that the government has raised the retirement age to officially from 62 to 63, right? And then if you go back, re-employment is like 67 to 68. So let's say 40 or 40 plus. So you have a 20-year to work. Yeah. So you got to plan it that way, right? Maybe first, if you are new in the industry, maybe the first 4 to 5 years, you want to learn first, right? And then another next 4 to 5 years, you start applying.
Yeah.
And then you still got time to actualize your self-specialization, right? You know, so yeah, there is time, lah. But you need to plan carefully, lah. Yeah.
Yes, correct. That's
correct.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a question from the audience. Jess was asking, do you think, right, which one is more important, like a master degree or a professional certification?
Okay, there are few things you need to. It's an interesting question, but it's a difficult question as well. In our society, we are all going for qualification. But cybersecurity is a field whereby it also requires you to have the kind of passion, right? Whereby you want to have an inquisitive mind. You want to develop your mind to look across, not just in depth. Right, so the passion must be there. As I call this the condition to be at least you can stay a few years in the industry, right? Not just for 1 year. And then you want to be, after you have tried out certain aspect of computing, right? Whether you're coming in from management, for programming, or purely risk management, or some sort of one-day certification, right? Then you realize that is this something that you can be good at, right? Not because because your friend say that hey, cybersecurity is good, then you must join. Then everybody's cybersecurity, right? Yeah. So then of course to answer back your question, right? Yes, there's a lot of demand in the industry. I think for the last couple of years, right, 4 to 5 years, we are seeing like a 300% increase in demand, at least in the number of cybersecurity personnel in different fields. Right, in different roles, and then people are confused about the names of the roles as well.
Yeah.
Good. So if you have no foundation in cybersecurity, but maybe you have a bit of IT foundation, you have a few years of work experience, going for a master's is one way, but I declare I have not gone through a master's myself for cybersecurity because my time don't have. Right, we only have engineering courses, we only have MBA courses, right? So we have to another way is to learn yourself, like what we have done, right? DIY. You really have to go and read books, and then you buy a bunch of computers. You try to read open source code, and then you spoil your computer, you hack yourself, that kind of thing. There's no structure at all. But we learn, right? It took us a few decades to learn. But if you take a more structured learning way, right, such as a master, right, then it basically helps you to accelerate, you save more time by doing it in a year or two, all right. But having said that, because it's a master, you need to be ready with a mature mindset, right? Yeah,
yes, correct.
Yeah, it's not like when you were young in school, you have a teacher to handle you for years.
Yeah, that's right.
So we are talking about graduates, right? Graduates, students. Yeah, and once you come in the right mindset, right, then you'll be happy because you'll be meeting people of the same direction, right? Looking for the same thing, and then through the interactive session, right, then you can gain more. Yeah, that's when we say that 1 + 1 more than 3, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it am I right to say that, right? If let's say if you go for interview and stuff like that, right? Is your pay or your salary, right? Is it determined by your academic qualifications or?
You're talking about pay?
Yeah, like salary.
To a certain degree, yes. All right. In the market, right? If imagine I'm your employer, right? And I do not personally know you and your profile. One of the ways to find out about what you can do, right, is your certification, right? Yeah, and your qualification. That's one of the ways. Unless they already know that you have certain industry standing, and they go by your industry standing, right? Yeah. So these are different pathways to get yourself qualified.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we were back to second question just now. Because when we were this person named Amanda was asking, is it 50s? Is it too old to start a new career?
Oh, now just not 40, now got 50.
Yeah.
Well, depending how long you want to work, or actually may not be work. If you we have graduate students who actually learn to start their own business. Right, they are like me, right? You run your own business, you service the industry. But if you're talking about looking forward, right, we have to see what you already have. What is your basic degree, right? Yeah, but let's say your basic degree is HR, marketing, and assuming the university accept you to do the masters, all right, in cybersecurity, you have to see whether are you able to link the two together, all right? Yeah, maybe find a job that that requires cybersecurity and HR, all right? Yeah, but if your basic degree is already in IT and then you have been doing IT for some time or cybersecurity related work for some time, right? Yeah, then it makes sense, and the age 50 years old is probably irrelevant. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We have another question. What is the job demands like in the industry for the cybersecurity?
The job demands.
Yeah, job demands.
Okay. This is a very tough question because cybersecurity, it's a vast world. It's a vast world that has many job titles. All right. And the industry is still coming out with new job titles. So you can't really look at of course, I already mentioned the demand, right? It is escalating like, last few years, 300% demand. And Singapore already raised cybersecurity as one of the defense pillar, right?
Yeah,
which means that it's very important, right? And there are certain things that cannot be, that has to be done by people that we trust, especially if your organization, right? You're handling your data to your employee, right? So you have to hire people you trust, right? And of course, they need the skills and the qualification. So it's important that these are in-demand skills that you have to learn from the knowledge and learn from the market at the same time. Yeah, because everything is changing in cybersecurity. Yeah, it is a moving target, right? Yeah.
I think as long as we are dealing with data and in this digital age, I think cybersecurity will.
So one of the things to pay attention are all the new job roles that are, being created in the industry, right? Yeah, like last time we only have CTO, now we have CISOs, right? And then we got we got vulnerability assessor, we have cybersecurity analyst, right? We got cybersecurity engineer, and many types. Yeah, and then of course another industry is also merging in. It's called risk and management, right? We have auditors who are actually reprofiling themselves to be cybersecurity. And because of their risk management background, right? Yeah, risk management background, it helps in our work.
Audit accounting side, right?
Yeah, accounting. So very much your interest. If you have interest in accounting and IT, then maybe this is for you, right? Or you begin as a geek like me, right? We are purely tearing computers apart, right? Fixing back, right? Then this is also something that you can explore.
That is also hacking, like not like hacking.
Yeah, just basically wasting your parents' money when you're young. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the demand is not an issue lah. It will be here for at least, from what I see, at least 10 years, 10 to 20 years, right? There will be demand for cybersecurity job. Yeah. But cybersecurity job can be tough, right? It can be like in certain jobs it can be 24/7 activation, right? For example, right now if your organization got some active hacking happening, right, in the middle of the night, right, your CTO, CISO may actually ask you to go back and take a look. Yeah. So it's a field whereby you have to use your mind quite a lot, lah. Right? And of course, then you use your heart also, lah, because we requires people with integrity, right, to handle the organization data. Yeah.
Okay. Now we have last question. Is because between our Master of Science this program, students will be also learning other non-related cybersecurity module as well, like project management and consultancy. How can these modules help the student in real life scenario?
Okay, the consulting and project management module, right, is very interesting because not many master's program actually have consulting and project management together. It's either project management, if not, it's another course or certificate called sales consultancy, right?
Yeah.
So I wish I had that in my MBA, but I didn't have. So now I get to teach lah.
Yeah, you are the
Yeah.
person
So
for,
I think first of all, you have to understand if you are in the field for some time, right? You take a leadership role, right? Naturally, you have to manage people. You may have to do a bit of sales, whether it's external sales, internal sales, or even just selling your idea, right? Your team, right? Your project. So marketing and sales is it's a skill that eventually, when you reach certain level, you might have to use. So we in this module, right, we allow you to start appreciating the role of management first, right, and then how to apply all these management technique, and as well as some life skills, some soft approach in a variety of situations. Right, because the environment is complex nowadays in the working environment. People do not have patience, right? So how do you read between the lines, and the reaction from your technical people and your business people? Both teams of people may actually react very differently in the same situation. Yeah. So and then basically, once you go up to the mid to higher management role, right, you need to have the critical mindset.
Yes,
so we train to have critical mindset through scenarios, and some project objectives will allow you to develop a critical mindset. Yeah, so it's not about just the paper qualification, but it's also developing your insights, right? How you see things, what is your perspectives, yeah, and through the role play, right? Then you get to exercise your mind, right? Yeah. And then, of course, the module will also throw you some issues, right? And these issues are issues faced by organization by and large, right? Medium enterprise, large enterprise, and you have some teamwork to come up with some key initiatives to solve this problem, right? Yeah, of course, then the faculty will share with you the real life things that they have seen before, right? And how they have solved it. Or maybe they have not solved it, right? So it depends. Not everything in cybersecurity can be solved. Yeah, we have big organization that has been hacked and that they just move on, right? They just tidy up, protect themselves and move on. But of course, then we learn from those as an industry. We learn from the mistakes, and then we make sure it doesn't happen again, right? Yeah, yeah. So it's always a kind of a battle between the white hackers and the black hackers, right? The white hackers are those that are typically in the defense role, and the black hackers are those malicious people who could be anywhere, right? And if you're in Singapore, right, this is an issue because our internet connection rate, our internet penetration rate is, I believe, is one of the tops in the world. In other words, you are one of the most densely populated and most connected people. So, which means that if there is a malicious kind of a malware or virus, right, it actually gets spread very fast. Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's good lah. You got fast connection, but you also got the virus earlier, faster. Which means that then the defendant really have to be on the job. Yeah, and they may have to develop strategies without you go to Google find answers, sometimes they may not have, right? It could be a new malicious kind of a method or files. Right? Yeah, and you really have to use your critical mindset to solve the problem. Yeah. So I think that those are the value. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So the student will be their skill will be enhanced in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So for now, right? I think we have come to an end to our Q&A session, and we will pause the Q&A for a while and continue with our second segment, which is the program preview itself. And thank you so much for Alvin for joining us today, and also thank you so much for sharing your experiences. And I hope everyone has insightful tips from Mr. Alvin. Thank you.
Thank you very much.